iSchool opened in 2011 in the Dysart Unified School District, providing innovative, engaging, and flexible online learning opportunities. Since then, it has grown to nearly 1,000 course enrollments each semester, with students taking classes to get ahead, catch up, or add flexibility to their schedule. But as best practices for online and blended learning have changed over the years, so has iSchool. This year marks the biggest changes yet. iSchool is again evolving and innovating to meet student needs. Personalized learning continues to be a driving force in the district, and iSchool is adapting to meet this 21st century philosophy.
One of the things I think we deal with as teachers all the time, and just teaching in general, is this idea is how do we effectively differentiate for all sorts of different students. It's a perfect platform for it. Students sometimes will get in the online class and just start rolling with it. They've got teacher assistants. They're all learning at different paces. I mean, it's the ultimate form of differentiating education for all types of learners. It's just very conducive to successful learning.
This year, with Dysart's implementation of a new learning platform and course content, Dysart was able to increase course offerings from 35 to 103 courses, with room for additional growth. Classes like archaeology and Great Minds in Science are being offered through iSchool that are new to students district-wide.
This expansion into high-level honors type of classes online gives our students a ton of options, which is huge because there's only so many classes in a day that students can take, and this allows for additional classes to be added to schedules, providing things that we may not have a teacher trained for, but in the online setting, it is totally acceptable to teach it. It's really helping us allow just a multitude of curricular options for our kids that they would have never had just in a standard school setting.
The Dysart Unified School District has also added components to each of the courses that support collaboration, creativity, communication, and critical thinking. Collaborative assignments and oral assessments are now integrated into the curriculum to help students build the skills necessary for college and career readiness.
Last year it was a little less interactive, and then this year it's more like conversational and answering questions like in the chat board, and then other kids chat back into it.
One of the most visual changes for iSchool this year is the place in which students work and gain help with their coursework. iSchool used to be housed at one high school, and students from across the district would have to travel to meet with teachers and take assessments. That all changed this year with the development of collaborative common areas on all 4 high school campuses, where students can work with the support of teachers and tutors. This provides a space and a place, and not just a computer lab, where the physical environment contains options for supporting a variety of learning habits.
In a classroom, you know that you have to be it's strict. It feels like you have to be 100% in it.
If you're a little bit more comfortable, you're more relaxed, then you probably work better. Because if you're all tense and high-strung, you can't really focus as well.
The first couple of weeks, students are realizing, am I allowed to do this? I wouldn't call it uncomfortable, just unsure. They're kind of testing out the waters. Now it's become like they're in their own living rooms. I'm going to go in, and I think it's that lack of anxiety that actually perpetuates better learning. You're seeing a lot more effort, a lot more progress because you're taking away that forcing to be in some environment where you have to be in a certain place.
As iSchool continues to grow, the collaboration with others is key to student learning success. iSchool partners with principals, counselors, and instructors to ensure consistent communication and support for the environment.
One of the big hurdles while having online learning is time management, and that's one of the skills I think having the adults in place really helps students teach, because we start noticing early when kids start falling off pace where we'd like to see them, and we don't want to push them too far where we're saying you have to be here, because this is learning at the pace that is comfortable for you, but we also want to make sure that there's continual learning going on. So I think this really provides students with the opportunity that in this sort of environment, you're allowed to make mistakes and it's not going to be catastrophic. You can go back and remediate what you didn't get and really get to that level of mastery learning which we're talking about.
Over the next few years, iSchool will continue to support ongoing improvements and engagement with feedback from students, parents, instructors, and the school community, iSchool will embrace the ever-changing landscape of online learning and continue to implement best practices for personalization of learning and student success.
One of the big discussions we've had as educators lately, especially, is this idea of alternative pathways where students pick their own pathway of learning. That's what you're seeing here, is just this entire setup that there's no one way to get to the end. And when you get into higher learning or 21st century learning, that's really what it is not everybody takes the same route, but the end result is all the same, is learning, mastery of subjects, betterment in their education. And you're definitely seeing an environment allow multiple pathways, and the end result is improvement in learning.